Good evening and welcome to the League One EFL predictions. I'm King Bush and I've got Bez with me. How you doing, Bez?
Yeah, doing okay, I suppose. Obviously, not a great day to be a Rotherham fan, and this will be difficult for the next few weeks. We've got to keep up with it. So, yeah, hopefully, better season next season.
Let's go. We'll start with the first up. Barnsley versus Bradford. I've gone 2-1 to Bradford. I think Barnsley are a really poor team. I think they'll struggle next season as well. But they're having more budget cuts. So I do predict Barnsley to get relegated next season. I think they will go down. Bradford, they're up there. They're trying to challenge. In fairness to Bradford, I need to give them a little bit of credit, if I'm honest, because I never expected that they would stay in the position that they've stayed for the most of the season. They've been up and around the top half for most of the season. They're still fourth in the table, and I think they will make the playoffs. I think you've got to give them credit. They are, what I would say about Bradford is they're a very well supported club, and the potential for them is massive. They could easily be a championship club for me, Bradford. So, yeah, I'm going 2-1 Bradford.
Yeah, very similar. I've just got 2-0. The only reason I've gone 0 for Barnsley is because apart from the Rotherham game, they've only scored 1 goal in about 4. They couldn't score against Fort Vale, couldn't score against Plymouth, scored 1 away at Burton and couldn't score against Donny. I think Barnsley probably, two things to say why Barnsley have been quite fortunate that they're staying in the division and not going down. I think, one, the division is really poor, as we've all said, and I think Barnsley are able to get enough points to stick in mid-table rather than be close to relegation spots. And number 2, and I think Barnsley fans will disagree with me, but I actually think Conor Hourihan's done a good job. I think, their budget is one of the lowest in the division. That's a fact. That's what came out, which it shouldn't be. Let's face it, Barnsley in Championship recently, so it shouldn't be. So, we got about our owners at Rotherham, but Barnsley owners aren't very good, to be honest with you. So they shouldn't be near bottom in terms of budget, but they are. And I think Conor Hourihan's actually done a really good job. They've never really looked like going down. They've got close to the relegation zone, but then they've gone and got a win. An example, they beat Rotherham quite comfortably.
Yeah, I mean, they're coming to 12th.
I know. Incredible, isn't it, really? I think they were like 18th about a week ago, and, 1 win and a draw, and the 12th. So incredible. And like I said, I think the credit on Hourihan. It's weird. When Rotherham did play Barnes at the weekend, there weren't a lot in the game in terms of their 11 versus our 11, but I just felt that Conor Hourihan, like we said before, first off, very even, going at half time, and Conor Hourihan said whatever he said and made tactical changes, and they've come out and they've dominated second half. And again, you've got to praise Hourihan. I think if Barnsley fans were to sack him, or want him sacked, I think that would be a wrong decision. I think, if you sacked him, you could struggle. I'll tell you what, I'd take him at Rotherham, I really would. Bradford, I have to agree with yourself. They started off really well. They were top of the league for the first couple of months, and we all thought they'd drop away, and they hadn't done. They've managed to stay in playoffs. And again, I don't want to put a down on it, but it is a terrible league, and I think that's the reason why Bradford have managed to stop up there. I'm sorry, Bradford fans, but I don't see you getting promoted in the playoffs. I think you can make an argument for any other team who are going to get in the playoffs to win it. Bolton, probably one of the best sides in the division. Stockport, big budget. Luton are now close, by the way.
I think Bradford are better than Stockport.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
I think Stockport are better. Okay, interesting.
I think Bradford are better than Stockport, me, personally.
Okay. Well, we might find out, because as it happens now, if the league were to end today, it'd Bradford v Stockport. So, yeah. Well, I still think fair play, though, to Bradford. They've managed to get a playoff spot. They can't see him dropping out now. So, fair play. And I agree with you, actually. I think the size at club, they've been underperforming for years, and they probably deserve a championship run. So yeah, fair play to Bradford.
Up next, Bolton versus Huddersfield. I've gone 3-0 to Bolton. I think Bolton really, I think they've underachieved for the squad and the level of ability they've got in that squad. I know they're up there, but they should. No way should a Lincoln City be finishing above Bolton Wanderers. I think Bolton really, for me, I think they've got the best squad in the league. I think the win Huddersfield quite comfortably. I've gone 3-0.
Yeah, I actually agree a lot what you said there. I've obviously gone Bolton 2, Huddersfield 1. Bolton have got one of the best squads in the league. I've always said, to be fair, that I'm not a big fan of the manager, Schumacher. We had a Bolton fan on our comments or chat a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying he likes Schumacher. And he'll know more about Bolton than I will do, so fair enough. But yeah, I've just not been a big fan of him. And I agree with you. I get why they're below Cardiff, because Cardiff looked a very good side, but they shouldn't be, 20 points behind Lincoln. That is for sure. So yeah, disappointing season for them, but it could still go up. So fair enough. Huddersfield, Huddersfield have underachieved as well. Let's face it, they've got a decent squad.
Yeah, they've got a decent squad as well.
Exactly. When you've got a player out on loan who's got 15 goals, how good was
I would have recalled him.
I don't think they could, though, because you're on loan in January, isn't it?
Mm.
And you can't, once he's out on loan, you can't recall him for 28 days. So, let's face it, they shouldn't loan him out. It's one of the most stupidest decisions there's probably ever been. And it's funny, if Joe Taylor would have stopped at Huddersfield, he could have been the difference between them being 8th now and in that top 6. So whoever made that decision, that could cost Huddersfield. They still got a chance. I felt sorry for Huddersfield last night, actually, because I had the game on in background when I was watching Rotherham, and they looked really good against Cardiff, and it was like a late Cardiff goal, which drew them level. And if Huddersfield had held on, they'd have been on 65 points, 2 points down Stevenage, and a chance of getting in. But that goal's cost him. And I think that, that 6th place for me is between Stevenage, Luton, and probably Plymouth, I'd say. Didn't realise Reading had dropped to 10th as well, funnily enough.
Yeah. Well, I told you, I think Richardson, they're looking at getting rid of Richardson, so we'll see. Up next, Wimbledon versus Plymouth. I've gone 2-0. Oh, you've gone 2-0 as well, by the look of it. 2-0 Plymouth. I just don't rate Wimbledon. I think they should be a team that should go down, really. I think they're a poor team. 2-0.
I agree. There's only one winner here. Plymouth, poor result against Exeter. Really should have won that game, and that's kind of halted their playoff run. I still think they've got a good chance because they'll beat Wimbledon. That gives them 66, and they're only a point behind Stevenage then. Wimbledon, actually, I think Wimbledon could go down. They've lost. They've lost. I can see they've lost 5 in a row, but they have lost. Yeah, they've lost. Was it 7 out of 8 games, and they drew with Peterborough, right? They're only 3 points now ahead of Exeter, right? And their fixtures are Plymouth, which I can see losing. They've got Wigan away. I think they'll lose that. And then they've got Huddersfield at home. And I'll tell you what, I think they'll lose that as well, which means Exeter City only really need a win, and that gets them 5th bottom. So I think that's
the Rotherham had just done a little run that has stayed up.
I know. Do you know what? It's the first time I've even noticed it. Like, if Rotherham would have got the 2 wins that they needed over these last 3 games, they'd have been on 43 points with a game in hand. And I'll tell you what, they would have been challenging Wimbledon. That is such a shame. And Wimbledon, I was praising Wimbledon and their manager only about 4 weeks ago because they were mid-table and not look like going down. And all of a sudden, they're in trouble. And I do think they're going down. And, I want Exeter stuff up me because, obviously, Matt Taylor, ex-Rotherham manager there. So I hope Exeter do it. And Wimbledon do come down.
Fair enough. Exeter versus... Is it Peterborough?
Stockport, yeah.
That one, Stockport, yeah. 2-0 I've gone for this game. Stockport chasing the playoffs. Exeter, they're struggling. But yeah, I've gone 2-0.
Yeah, again, I mean, Exeter, the Devon Derby, it actually was a great result for them, even though they conceded the last minute equaliser, unfortunately. That was still a good point for him. I'm just looking at their fixtures now, and I was saying literally 2 minutes ago, they need one win to give them a chance. Now, they've got Stockport at home, which we both think they'll lose. Burton away, that's the game they have to win for me. Last game of the season is Bradford, and the good thing about Bradford is that they'll have no to play for Bradford, so that's a good game.
I think they might beat Bradford. I think they will probably. Yeah. I think they'll draw it probably Burton, but Burton may be safe, so they could even go and win there as well.
Yeah,
could win the last 2 games, Exeter.
So I've said, Lee, that I think Wimbledon are down based on those fixtures. What are you thinking?
I'm agreeing with you. I think Taylor's going to keep Exeter up. I think Wimbledon will lose the remaining fixtures, and Exeter will pick up at least 1 win. If not 2.
Okay.
Fair enough. Next up, the shambles is Rotherham United. I've just gone 4-0. This club is an absolute disgrace. The players are a disgrace. What Lee Clark said in his interview about players ringing up saying they didn't want to come or they were poorly. Then he said one was sick and then ended up training. Absolute disgrace. I don't want to see any of them players that played this season. Not one single player. I don't want to see them again. Get them gone. They're going to get spanked because they've got no backbone, no fight, no nothing. They've give up. 4-0 to Leyton Orient. Easy win for Leyton Orient. Rotherham are utter in a mess. And Tony Stewart's thing today, another utter disgrace, utter nonsense what he's come out with today. I can see us falling through into the non-league. Very sad times for the football club. Obviously, rival fans are happy, and that's where you're at with people like that. So let them be. That's it. We're done. We're finished.
I can't agree. I mean, I've only gone 2-0 because more to Leyton Orient, really. I'm just hoping that they don't hammer Rotherham. There's no way Rotherham get anything on this game. And everything Lee said, I fully agree. The note from the chairman today is literally just blaming injuries. The whole club have blamed injuries all the way through the year. It's like no other club gets injuries, just Rotherham. So, yeah, absolute disgrace. We'll talk more about Rotherham anyway in
But the thing is, when these players have come back from injuries, they've been shite anyway.
They have, yeah.
Like they've come back and played well.
Yeah.
Absolute joke of a football club.
What's frustrating me, and we've said it on our own Rotherham podcast, I've said it on the Championship recording, what we've just done, and it's going to go live in a day or two. Every time a team is about to get relegated, they always fight. Everyone does, apart from Rotherham. And it's not the first time they've not fought either, because when they're in Championship and they were up verge of going down, they just gave in then as well. I'm sorry, but he may have started well and he's took Rotherham from League Two to the Championship within a few years, which was excellent. And he kept us there for a couple of years, but I'm afraid massive changes are required at the top and all the way through the staff and the club. Even the media guys, I'm sorry, you're not doing a good job, but we need a full clear out, I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, the media team are an absolute joke as well. The whole club's a joke.
Yeah.
Everything. Well, there's not one bit of the club that is run well. In my eyes.
The media.
The media team, the media team are a disgrace actually, because they're the ones that banned the podcast with no warning, because the little Smurfs.
You know what as well?
Using them.
The media team as well. I don't know if you've noticed, but they always make mistakes when they when they print the lineup out and put it on Twitter or X or on whatever. They always make mistakes all the time. Like they'll say, "Oh, Jordan, Hugo's playing," and we'll be like, "Hugo, I thought you were injured." And 2 minutes later, sorry, we got it wrong. They do it all the time. Like, I don't understand why. Like, if I made that many mistakes in my job, I'd be out of
it. Yeah, but it's what you get with minimum wage workers, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's true.
Next up, don't want to talk about Rotherham too much. Mansfield Town. I've gone 2-1 against Luton. I've been really impressed with Mansfield. I watched them in the FA Cup game against Arsenal. They gave Arsenal a really good game. I slagged them off earlier in the season, to be fair. But I just really rate Clough, the manager there. I think he's quality. I think they've got a good relationship with Nottingham Forest as well, so they get a lot of good young Forest talents coming there. And I think there'll be an outside shot next season, potentially to push on and go towards the playoffs. I mean, they've got a decent owner in the Radford family. They've got plenty of money. And if he does decide one time, look, now's the time to push the boat out and support Clough, I think it could be interesting for Mansfield Town. I could actually see them getting to the Championship. I really could. Well run, progressive football club. They're looking at building a new training facility for them. They're doing work on the stadium as well, which in fairness does let them down. But for me, I think Mansfield are a really good team this season. I've been impressed with them. I like the way they play, very, very attacking. And the one thing is they give 100% every week. So there you go. It shows you where it can get you. 2-1 to Mansfield. If Lincoln can do it this season, Mansfield for me could do it next season. They could be the shock team next season.
Yeah, and I actually don't disagree with anything you said there. I think you're right. They've got a good manager. They run quite well. And if you notice, they're gradually improving season on season. This time last year, I think there were 2 or 3 spots lower. They're going to finish probably mid-table this season, which is another progressive year. And again, I think they'll progress again. And I think they will be fighting for those top 6 places. I've gone 1-1. And I'll be honest, obviously, I did this, or I set my score to Lee about 2 hours ago. And it was before Luton played the game. Now, Luton had just won. At the time of recording this, Luton had just beaten Northampton. And I'll be honest, I didn't realise this at the time. Luton have won 4 out of 5 games. And they're almost firing. I get that. But they beat Peterborough. They beat Exeter. To be fair, looking at the wins, they have
all the bottom sides, though, mate.
Yeah. Even so, you have to still win what's in front of you. I think they've given themselves a real chance to get in.
Still underachieved, mate. They should be up the top end of
I agree.
I agree. Really,
I agree. They've underachieved.
2 years ago, was it?
Yeah. Well, what I was going to say is, like, I'm just 2-3 weeks ago, they were mid-table, no chance of promotion. And what I'm trying to say is they've given themselves a chance. And let me just check the fixtures quickly. I mean, I tell you what, Mansfield's a difficult game, I get that, but they've got Rotherham away. That's a win. They've got Barnsley at home. That's a win.
That's a win.
Now, the problem is the last game of season, Bolton away. So I'll tell you what, I look at their fixtures. Let me just quickly look at Stevenage's fixtures, because it's between those two now for that 6th place. Now, Stevenage have got difficult games. I'm going to back Lincoln. They've got Lincoln, difficult. Barnsley's a win. Doncaster and Wigan. Right. It's going to be tight. Honestly, it's going to be tight. It's whether or not Stevenage bottle it.
Luton for me.
Say that again, sorry, Lee.
I think they've left it too late.
Maybe. Like I said, they've given themselves a chance. I'd probably say, and I'm still going to stick with a draw in this game. They probably have to win this game in order to try and get in those playoff spots. I'm also not ruling Plymouth out, but we'll come to them later on. So, yeah, 1-1 for me.
Next up, Northampton, Doncaster. I think these are 2 very, very poor teams. But I'm going to go Doncaster 2-0. I think Northampton are the worst team in League One. Potentially, we could be as bad as them. But, yeah, I'm going to go 2-0 for Doncaster. I think they'll win this game. I can't see Northampton picking up another point this season. Same as Rotherham. I think both will go the rest of the season without getting a point.
Yeah, I think Northampton will finish bottom, like you said, and Rotherham second bottom.
They are bottom now. I think Port Vale have gone above them now.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, I'm looking now. Yeah, they've lost like 5 in a row, and it could be more. Obviously, looking at flash scores, it only gives you the last 5. So yeah, Northampton really poor season. But again, this is what Northampton do. Northampton are very similar to Rotherham, apart from the league below. So Rotherham are obviously always between the Championship and League One. Northampton always between League One and League Two, and it amazes me that they go up from League Two, and I actually think they're a big enough club to cement a League One position. I really do think that, and they never seem to do it. Like, even if they stop up one year, they tend to go down the next year. I don't know how Northampton go about and try and maintain a League One status. I've no idea, because I think Rotherham are a bigger side than Northampton, but I don't think it's a lot in it as such. Yes, it amazes that Northampton struggling in League One. Donny, yeah, I mean, they're going to stay up. Fair play to him. I've always said I like the manager. I think he's the main reason they're stopped up. I don't think they're a great side as such. But then again, a lot of the teams in this league aren't great either. I think with Grant McCann in charge, I think Donny have probably got a good chance of stopping up each year. I think if they're ever to lose him, I think they'd probably go back down. I mean, Donny are traditionally a League Two side, you'd say. Obviously, I've had the odd championship season, fair play to him. But if you take the John Ryan era out of it, I think Donny have always been League Two, and obviously they spent a bit of time in conference as well. So fair to Donny, they're above their stations at minute, and fair play. But like it always does, they'll end up dropping back down to League Two at some point.
Agreed. Cardiff, I've gone for Cardiff to win 2-0 at Reading. Reading are a bit of patchy form. I believe there's a bit of sort of stuff going on with the manager where Richardson could be gone. So I think there's a bit of stuff going on there behind the scenes. Cardiff, I think, will win this 2-0.
Yeah, disappointed with Reading, because I think I said a few weeks ago I thought that Reading would inform team. I thought they'd get that playoff spot, and because they'd got into the playoffs with in form, they'd win him. But something's happened, like Lee says. I mean, we don't really know, but something's obviously happened, and it does look like the manager might not be there soon, which I find incredible, really. If it is against the player, and look, we don't know the ins and outs, I get that, but against the player, you should side with manager, really, as a football club. But they're not doing that, and he looks like he could be gone. And, Reading, if they do get rid of him, I think they've wasted an opportunity getting in those playoffs. And I could just see Reading staying in League One now for the next few years, which is not good for them when they were a Premier League side not that long ago. Cardiff, I think Cardiff are disappointed this season. Came to New York, the best team I saw, and I thought there's no chance anyone gets above Cardiff. And Lincoln have not just done it, they've done it comfortably. I've been disappointed. Now, what I would say is, and I praised this manager when they came to Rotherham and won 3-0 with 10 men, Brian Barry Murphy. I just wonder if his lack of experience has kind of caught up with him, and that's why they've they're stumbling over the line. That's all I can think of. They're still going to go up, but they're going up because they're playing one of the best sides in the division. I do think that, and I've only had this change of opinion in the last few weeks. I think in order for them to stay in the Championship, I think they'll need a new manager, because Brian Barry Murphy struggled at Rochdale when he was there, and yet he looks like he's doing a good job now, but he's not really, because they're going to finish second, and I think he'd take them down next season.
Fair enough. Stevenage versus Lincoln. I've gone 2-0 to Lincoln. I think Stevenage are going to start to wobble a little bit. And I think Lincoln are brilliant at the minute. They're playing with sort of no fear and just enjoying themselves. I think they win this 2-0.
Yeah, I can't disagree with Lincoln. I mean, I've got a draw, and I'll come to why in a minute, but Lincoln, fair play. You had a brilliant season, fully deserved it. I don't mind Lincoln as a club, as a city, and obviously you're going to get champions as well. I do think you'll struggle in Championship. I will admit that, but I don't know. Obviously, we don't know what your recruitment's going to be like, so that could change if you get the right recruitment. The reason I've got to draw is I just think Stevenage are hard to beat, and I think it's a sort of game where Lincoln have won a lot of games like outworking teams. And I don't think they'll outwork Stevenage because I think Stevenage are that sort of side as well. They don't concede a lot, Stevenage either, and that's why I think it'll be like a low-scoring draw.
Next up, Wycombe versus Blackpool. I've gone 1-0 to Wycombe. I don't think there'll be many goals in it. And yeah, Wycombe are a team that generally can win 1-0, so I've gone 1-0.
Yeah, Blackpool, first of all, it's a really good job in keeping Blackpool out of the bottom four. It looks like they've just done enough now. They're 4 points clear, 3 games to go. I think 51 points is probably going to be enough, especially when we think we're going to lose every game. Wycombe, very mixed season. Obviously, they were struggling at start, got a new manager, started winning. I felt they were going to get playoffs at one point, and they've just kind of lost the way a little bit. And I'm not really sure why that is. I like Mike Duff as a manager, so I don't really know what's happened. I mean, I'd love a Wycombe fan to kind of comment in the comments, like, what's happened? Why is your phone dropped off? Is it injuries? Is it anything like that? Because from the outside, it looked like a month ago, Wycombe were on fire and they were going to get into those playoffs, but they've just lost the way. Wycombe is slightly better than Blackpool, in my opinion. That's why I've gone a 2-1 win.
Peterborough versus Burton. I've gone 2-0 to Peterborough. I think Burton have probably just done enough to keep up this season again. But I think Peterborough at home, a very difficult team to beat, as Rotherham found out. Everybody's difficult for Rotherham to beat, though. But in fairness, they're flattered as was it 5-0?
Maybe difficult for Rotherham.
Yeah. So I've just gone 2-0. I don't think Burton will get anything from this. They don't travel particularly well either, Burton. So yeah, 2-0.
Again, a manager who we really rate, Burton's manager, Guy Bowyer. When they got to close to the relegation spots, again, he dug in, managed to get a win and 2 draws to his last 3 games, which has seen Burton almost guaranteed safety. In fact, they're on 51 points. I think they're safe, to be honest with you. And I think they'll go into this game thinking they're safe as well. And I just think Peterborough will I think Peterborough, I think they've got a lot of quality, but a little bit like Rotherham, actually. They've not got a lot of steel behind them. They're quite a weak side, I'd say. What they'll do is they'll out-football teams, and I think that's what they'll do here. I think Burton will relax, knowing that they're safe, and Peterborough will out-football them and win the game 3-1.
Fair enough. And then last up is Port Vale versus Wigan Athletic. I've gone 1-1 here. I think Port Vale at home have improved recently. Obviously, they beat us, picked up a couple of sort of points recently. Don't think Wigan have really got much to play for. I've gone 1-1.
So I'll start with Wigan. Again, Guy Caldwell's done an incredible job. So fair play to him. They've won 3 in a row. What he's done is I wanted. Well, I'd have loved Huddersfield too. He weren't given the time to do it. He's obviously started from the back, got clean sheets, and then they started scoring goals. A few weeks later, that's what they've done, including beating Rotherham on Tuesday 3-0. And I think they'll just go to Fort Vale and do something similar. Hold that. Fort Vale won't break them down. They'll not score, and Wigan will just get 1 and win the game. I do think Fort Vale will finish with Rotherham, though, as we've already said. I think they'll finish 3rd bottom, and Rotherham will finish 2nd bottom.
And that brings us to the end of a very difficult League One predictions after, obviously, this week being confirmed there was a relegation. So, thank you for watching. Get your comments in, like say Wycombe fans, what has gone off there? Let us know. Bradford, do you think you can win those playoffs? I think you'll get in there. Do you think you can win them? So who is going to get promoted through those playoffs, and who's going to take that final spot? Is it going to be Exeter or is it going to be Wimbledon? I think it's between them two, personally. Who do you think will get into that drop? Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
Cheers all. See ya.